We're live.
All right. Hey, folks, Pam back from Down for Paws here. So, today we're talking about a really interesting topic. So, what I wanted to talk about, so if you're in a New England area or just an area where there's a lot of snow, maybe you're in an area where there's a lot of rain or you can't get your dogs out as much, but basically changes in season where, like I said, you can't get your dogs out. We're talking about today indoor exercises for your dog and mental stimulation exercises to keep your dog busy during the times where you can't get them out as much. Even if it's not during the time where the weather may be bad, you just maybe your schedule is busy and you need some activities to do indoors with your dog. So that's what today's about, getting your dog exercised indoors. So the first thing I want to talk about, so dogs are kind of like children, okay? Um, so you want to give them something to do indoors because if you don't, then they make their own fun, and usually the fun they make is not the one we approve of. And so that's where the mental stimulation exercises come in. And I know a lot of the times when I do talk to my clients, and I can see why they would think that, they're like, "Well, I walk my dog on a leash.
Yeah.
Isn't that good enough exercise for my dog?" Um, well, dogs need two forms of exercise. So leash walking is great, but your dog needs to do something more vigorous, like running, swimming, something to get their heart rate really pumped up.
Yeah.
And so they need a little bit more than the leash walking for 30 minutes each day. You want to kind of do something more. And so that's what I want to talk about too, like different exercises that will get their heart kind of going and things that you can do indoors. In talking about exercise, I usually like to talk about there's two different types. So there's workouts for the body exercises. And so those are exercises like chase, ball or frisbee, again, swimming. So some things that really get your dog type active, tug of war, which is a common one. So those are things that really get the body going for the dog. And also there's the brain exercises, and we call those the work to eat exercises. And the most common one that people might be familiar with is a stuck Kong. People use that to keep their dog busy, but that's actually stimulating their brain because they have to work to get the food out. And so, biologically speaking, we want to kind of nurture to the dog's natural um, prey drive or natural instincts. And so, ideally, when we do put down food for dogs, we just plop it down. But if we can have them work to eat for their food, that's more geared towards a dog's natural instincts and prey and stuff like that. So they actually would enjoy that better work for, the work to eat program. That's what I call it. Also, toys are a good one. Toys galore are great if your dog's a big toy person. Just getting them engaged in toys and doing some detective work, which I'll talk a little bit about later in some of the games. If I hear a lot when I talk to my clients, oh, look at this basket here. I have tons of toys for my dogs, and they'll play with it for 5 minutes, and then they won't want to play with it anymore.
Yeah.
So what you want to do with that is um, if you have a basket full of toys and your dog's not playing with them or he's playing with some, take some of those out and hide them for a little bit. Make it more interesting when they return back. So say you have like 6 toys, take 3 out, hide them for like a few weeks, and then bring them back into the foreplay. And so your dog can be excited about that. So you just want to try to rotate the toys out to keep your dog interested and excited instead of buying new toys all the time. Of course, you can buy new toys for your dog because I do too. But if you don't want to buy the new toys, just try rotating it out for them. So that's one thing you could do to kind of keep them stimulated inside. Also, playing something called the shell game is a cool idea to get your dogs stimulated inside. And all that is you can use your hands or you can use a cup. And you want to put a treat under one cup and mix it up a few times, and then have your dog kind of figure out which cup the treat is under. And so you can do that indoors. It's really simple. Just take some plastic cups, switch it around a little bit, and then have your dog find it. You can make it harder by adding a few cups onto it as well. And I
Or
know
run
you
faster. The faster you go can be hard.
exactly. Yep, the faster you go can help as well. And also, this one's a good play off of what I talked about before, keeping your dog distracted using Find It.
Mm.
Although, I talked about it before, just to throw that in again, with treats being hidden, you can throw
Yeah.
that into the room and just let your dog have at it and sniff, and they'll love you forever for that. Another good one, and this also is good for the kids too. Let's just throw that in there. Having your dog chase bubbles.
Oh yeah.
Blowing bubbles and having them chase them around will definitely tire them out, and the kids too. So you can use that one for the kids if you want to get them some of the
Try to
energy out
avoid
with them.
collisions, but other than that, you're good to go. Yeah.
Exactly. So you want to do that. Also, you can also what else? Back to tug again.
Yeah.
Doing tug of war with your dog, getting them really going back and forth. And I always tell folks, and usually this is a big one with the husbands. No, shout out to the husbands.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into a whole wrestling match with the dog and doing all this back
Okay.
and forth with the tugging,
It's a
because
lot
then
of
they go.
fun, but okay. Yeah.
I know, Scott. You're like, oh yeah, that's fun. No, Scott. No, as a wife, I'm telling you, we're like, no, honey, no, that's not how you do it. And so we want you to tug like this,
Okay.
back and forth. Scott's like, yeah, okay. You want to tug back and forth, back and forth. That's more the tugging style than to do this back and forth and getting them all riled up. And they're like, okay, lay down. And then they're like, wait,
Yeah.
so just do gentle tugs back and forth.
Got it.
Also, like I said, the cups, switching them around. There's something called nose work, which is essentially the same thing as find it. Throwing treats on the ground, or just high value smelling things, hide them in certain places, and having your dog search those out. And that's considered things where they use their nose. And so that's why we call it nose work. And that's what find it's part of that as well. Again, going back to the Kongs and stuff and chew toys and stuff like that. Getting Kongs or anything that's work to eat. I know my dog for sure, and I give these out to my clients too. Part of the package, I always like to give them stuff that would be beneficial to training. So part of the package, I always give them a mental stimulation toy. And
Nice.
one of those are a ball with a hole in it for treats, and your dog can just toss them around, roll, and they love it. And the treats just fall out. So toys like that, where they really have to work to eat. The Kong, remember, freezing them helps too. I talked about that earlier on.
One other tip I have that's a
Mhm.
bonus that we do, we get a big beach towel and then we
Yep.
lay it out and we
Mhm.
usually we do kibble or like
Yep.
treats that he likes, and then we
Yep.
lay it out and then we roll up the towel, then we roll it up again, and then we just drop it in a big knot in front of him, and he has to like sniff it and like open it with his mouth and get all the
Yep.
treats and everything.
Exactly. See, I see. I can use that one. Even
There
my
you go.
clients use stuff, and so that's a new one I never heard of. But
Yeah.
that's actually a good one, because if you're rolling treats up in a towel, they really have to, and you're holding it, they have to work to kind of get,
Yeah.
what they want. Yep. So that's a really good one. Also, setting up an obstacle course in your home.
yeah.
Moving some furniture around. If you don't want to move furniture around, you can buy little orange cones and just do like an obstacle course that way. Use some of your kids' toys and do an obstacle. And actually, this one's probably good for the kids too and the dogs. Just doing a little obstacle. Look, I'm a family dog trainer, Scott. I try to make it useful for the kids
Get
and the
everyone to
dogs.
burn up energy. Nobody wants to go outside in the cold, so
For the whole, this actually is for the whole, it's live, it's for the whole family.
There you
go. So doing a small obstacle course in your house with little cones, or using your kids' toys. And a little tip: if you're going out of town and you're taking your dog with you on vacation, bring like a blue strip tape with you. It's not masking tape. You're not going to tie your dog up, but just the blue
painter's tape type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yep,
Yeah.
painter's tape.
Yeah.
Bring the painter's tape, and you can use it and use that as markers on the floor. And dogs see blue and green really well, and so that's why we say blue. So that's just a little tip that if you're going out of town. Another tool you can use too is actually, I tell folks, and I've seen it too, if you have like a water bottle and just letting them, they love the crinkling sound. So just doing that is actually helpful as well. And so, and if you add water to it and just make it half full and just make it more like slushy into ice, that can be helpful as well. So these are a lot of tips and tools and, things that you guys can do at home with your dog. And if you guys have any other things like Scott did that you guys find helpful that I don't know, you could drop it in the comments, because I'm a dog trainer, but I'm always open to learn new ideas to tell my clients, and I also get ideas from my clients as well. But hopefully you guys will, do some tug of war with your dogs, some bubbles, the find it game. I love that one, and the shell game. So just start doing some of these exercises now, and try to, I'm a big fan of making everything part of your daily routine, so that you're not taking any any extra time out. So with that being said, don't wait till the weather actually changes to start doing these activities. You can also just do them now and make it part of your dog's routine, so there's no difference to the dog, and it's kind of like I said, part of your routine for
Yeah, they're used
yourself.
to it. They're actually using them. They're getting mentally stimulated too, which is a big thing. Like, this the physical is good, but you are probably just making your dog's stamina better. So if you're doing like mental stimulation too, you can tire them out sniffing and all the different games
Yep.
you're mentioning, right? And mental stimulation is a big thing. And if they
Mhm.
look bored, it might just be because they're not getting much mental stimulation too. Right?
Exactly. Oh, yep. And just to piggyback off that, far as boredom, if your dog is chewing up stuff at home when you're there, or
Yeah,
chewing on furniture, they're probably bored. Or big one, if they're digging holes in the backyard, they're bored.
yeah,
And so, let's rewind back to the beginning of the live. And out here, well, my dog has this big yard to play with. Like, why would they be bored? Because even though they're in the backyard, like there's nothing for them to do. So even if you throw toys out there, they need someone to play with
yeah.
to do that. Or if you're going to put toys out there, do find it. Toss treats in there so they're engaging themselves. So um, think more so of the games they could do alone if you can't get out there and do stuff with them, because them just being in a yard by themselves, it just doesn't cut it for the dog,
It
unfortunately.
goes back to kids. You throw a kid in the backyard, they're probably either going to try and climb out or try and dig something. So, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep. Family dog trainer.
there you
Exactly.
go.
Yep. And make sure you're blocking off those exits for the kids and the dog.
Yeah,
They're not getting
and the
out.
dogs
That's the
too. Yeah,
and the
yeah,
dogs.
yeah.
And also, so what I would encourage people to do too, and I do this with my clients. First thing in consultation, I give them a handout for physical and mental exercises with an actual chart on it to write down when they exercise their dog, who's
Okay.
exercising their dog, and for how long. Because sometimes we just writing that down, you take a look at it and you're like, oh man, I thought I was doing awesome, but my dog probably could use a little bit more
Yeah,
exercise.
you can
Or
realize
you,
you're slacking, right? So you're like,
or
I didn't
yep.
think I was slacking, but oh wow, I
Mhm.
kind of suck right now. So yeah,
Or maybe it's like, oh, I've been playing fetch every day with my dog. Maybe he could use a little bit more variety. And so I tell
exactly.
folks to write that down so that when I come back each week, I can take a look at it if I'm working
Yeah,
with you and be like, hey, maybe we could throw in some, shell games here, some tug there. So I encourage you just to sit down, even if you're not writing it down. I encourage you to write it down. Just take a look at your dog's exercise plan and make sure that it's sufficient enough. And first things first, look, all these ideas are coming. I'm just throwing them at you guys. So I hear too, besides, oh, I think my dog's getting enough exercise. One thing to kind of figure out how much exercise your dog needs, look up your dog's breed.
okay.
Look up your dog's breed. Some breeds need more exercises than others. Like,
Mhm.
Huskies need more exercise than probably like than my little boxer Sandy, or like,
Yeah,
so just look up your dog's breed first, and then like, oh, this dog is, a sled dog. So of course, if it's a sled dog, then it's used to pulling stuff. It's going to
yeah,
need more exercise than not. Or if a dog's, a lap dog, then of course it's going to need less exercise. So look up your dog's breed first to kind of figure out what kind of exercise would be like good for them.
yeah. That's
And
also like a really great tip too. If you are deciding on which dog to get
as
and you're
mm-hmm,
matching your lifestyle, you want to see like what
yep,
kind of work do you need to put in as far as like that sort of thing too, or just
yep.
like the additional thing. But yeah,
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. And I would piggyback off that, but that's a whole nother
that's a
live
big
talking
that's
how
a
to
big
choose it.
conversation. I was just dropping that in.
Yeah.
Like, tip,
Yeah.
tip,
Yeah.
tip,
We'll talk about another time how to choose
for
the
sure.
perfect dog for you.
Yeah,
But I hope you guys learned a lot from these tips, and you utilize some of these tips as seasons have changed, or
yeah,
upcoming changes, or the weather. And if you guys have any questions for me, just drop them in the comments. You can always reach me at Down for Paws everywhere on
yeah.
Instagram, Facebook,
Everywhere.
downforpaws.com. Um, everywhere, Down for Pod. So if you guys have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me. And I hope you guys are enjoying these lives. I hope you guys tune in with me next week.
Awesome. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.